6, 5, 4. Here we go. Roger.
On Insights, two eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Hello, everybody. Hello. We got with us the reporter's favorite reporter, the man in all the land, with the plan in his hand, doing what he can, Mr. Kappa Man, Rick Brown.
Yo, what's happening, Coach?
Forever the yo.
My brother.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, the one thing we do is keep it true.
Hey. Listen to you. You on a roll. You rolling. I like it.
Keep it rolling. Keep it going. Let's see what we got. Keep the toll going. Rick. Man, we had people mad with me last week.
Uh-oh.
They were mad about the Jeremiah report and why he wasn't on. They said, Then Rick went to questioning it. They said, and he handled the questions. I said, y'all got to understand. We show you pictures when he was 3 and 4, walking around with a camera in his hand, taking pictures, a microphone, trying to interview people. Want to know why he won't let him talk. So talking ain't never his problem. If there's anybody that this gets left to, he would be the one.
Agreed.
He would be the one. We're in Studio 13. He painting and doing everything else. Got a pressure washer. He wasn't but 3 trying to pressure wash. You watch out for him. He done went up the ladder. You got to watch him all the
time. Let me see. And where did he get this from?
Probably from his mama, who probably got it from me.
Jeans. Weren't we talking about jeans? We were talking about jeans.
I'm gonna let y'all in on the rest of the story. See, Rick brought that up. See, we both sharing.
Oh well, that time is over. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the show. Hello. Goodbye.
Oh, did Rick close that one down?
I don't like the way this is going.
They say you ain't like how that was going.
I don't like the way this is going. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Man, before we get to our coaches, you brought it up last time, but a couple things. What's your thought on supposedly Colin Kaepernick is now getting looked by some NFL teams? You believe that?
No.
He said no.
No, and I hate it for I mean, we keep it real. I hate it for my frat brother, but this should have happened years ago. I mean, he hasn't played in 5-6 years. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, but still, hell, he's still probably better than he can start on the team. He can start on. And let's go NFC East. He can start on Washington. He can start on Philly. He can start on not Philly. I'm sorry, they got Hurts. He can start on the Giants. Let's go to the South. Who's the Atlanta's quarterback now since Ryan is gone somewhere? So he could probably start there. Is he better than Jameis? I'm sorry, Coach.
Probably Tim Tebow.
No, I think he could play. I still think he could play compared to what's out there now. But then when he comes back, everyone's going to expect him to be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he hasn't played in 5 years. I've never heard of an NFL player coming back after a 5-year absence to dominate or even have I've never heard of it, period. So I don't know, Coach. I don't think this is real. Hope it is. Would love to see it. But nah. No.
And you see, Sports Steve already said still better than some of those that are playing now. Boy, we appreciate the comments from the Peanut Gallery. You know, now you ask about Deshaun. You know, that stuff still hadn't died down at all. And they said, what about, this is what a comment that came to us. Wasn't mine, but somebody else. What about Big Ben? His exploits. And they said there are certain places he can't even go in Las Vegas. Certain hotels he's not allowed in. And then they ask about Robert Kraft, which they had him on tape, but they said he was an owner. So I'm just reporting what people have commented on the show that I brought up. What's your thought? What's your thought?
My melanin. There's a difference there. Robert Kraft, owner, billionaire. I mean, of course he was gonna get away. Big Ben though, Big Ben. I'm sure when he used to go by the bars, people used to even the glasses would start shaking when he would go by. But listen, they gave them second chances.
Right.
This Deshaun hasn't been charged criminally. Now there's still silver suits that's out there, but he hasn't been charged criminally. And I thought you spoke so well last week about, listen, you have daughters, so this is not a male ego thing. At the same time, it's a fair thing, and so there is a balance there. There is a balance, but usually the guys with melanin, they don't get off usually as easily as others have in the past. Did I say that politically correct? And usually I don't try to be politically correct, but it's true. It's not only PC, but it's also true. So, hey, my Twitter is at Rick Brown 91. If you want to come at me, at Rick Brown 91, bring it. Just bring all the smoke. I'll take it. But I tell you one thing, you won't slap me like well, we're not gonna go there.
Okay, Will Smith. They won't slap you like that.
We had to get some straightening.
Well, let me ask you another question.
Yes, sir.
Did Coach Prime calling out the NFL teams earlier in the week have anything to do with the 30 NFL scouts that decided to show up to FAMU's the pro day?
Not necessarily him calling them out, but he did have an impact, definitely, because he's been calling them out all year. So I think that helped. And they had an HBCU little combine, like, so I think that also helped. So it's momentum, and I was wrong. When Prime was hired, I was one of the naysayers. Coach Prime, excuse me. I was one of the naysayers, and I am wrong, and I'm so happy to be wrong, because he has brought a major spotlight to athletes who deserve to get at least a look at. So I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. Thank you, Coach Prime, and let's continue building blocks. Let's keep it going.
Let me piggyback off that some. The transfer portal has changed that, and NIL have changed the landscape. And even at Power 5 schools, you got a kid that's defensive end at Florida State that was behind a first round NFL pick. He transferred to Florida State, had a heck of a year at defensive end, and get ready to go in the first round as well. Had he stayed at UGA, that wouldn't have happened. And a lot of these kids that have left some of these Power 5 schools, they've come to our HBCUs, have gotten an opportunity to play, and they have a certain amount of anger within them because they hadn't been allowed to play much before then. and are now showing up on the NFL radar. And one of them that was a prospect was Bell, the cornerback. He's projected as a third-round pick that came from UCF. And a lot of times our kids have trouble adjusting to the different institutions that they go to. And when they come back to an HBCU, they're more at home, they're more comfortable. They're in an environment where a lot of their behavior that might not have been accepted as somewhere else. The culture here, we understand our people and our students better and provide avenues for them to be successful. So it was an excellent turnout, but I understand that one of the young men that drew a lot of attention was a kid that's not even going to be in the draft this year, and that's Isaiah Land, the linebacker defensive end. They said the NFL scouts were all over him, among others, but he drew a lot of attention.
Defensive Player of the Year in the SWAC? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year, and I'm glad that he's on their radar because, yeah, he's something else. He's special. He's a special dude.
Yeah.
He's special.
Another question. The WNBA telling Lisa Leslie not to make a big deal about Brittany Griner because it would show too much concern and support for her, and Russia would use it as a political instrument between Russia and the United States. If that was Sue Bird, do you think they still have the same issue about telling people to be quiet?
No. If it was Sue Bird will be home. Now, all right. So let's bring it back. Should she had the hashes? No.
Mm-hmm.
But was it like she was what my boy Al Pacino played in Godfather? Tony Montana? Was he like Tony Montana? Was she like Tony Montana? No, she wasn't like. It wasn't. It was a personal little thing. So Russia, but then you think Russia and U.S. their relationship now's kind of strained, especially with Russia doing their thing in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do everything I think in your power to get her home. So if they're saying, hey, look, Lisa, calm down, let's get her home. Let's get her home first. I don't know how that's not helping because I was told out of sight, out of mind. But you got to get her home, and you got to do anything to get her home because the longer she stays there, not only does it, I'm not even thinking about affecting her career. I'm thinking about her life.
Exactly. Now let me do something here. We got two of our coaches that are with us.
Okay.
We got our ladies first. We got Coach Dione Desir with us.
Coach D.
Yeah, she. You know she a little special, right?
You see. I see you, Coach D. I see you.
Yeah. She still has herself muted, so she's saving what she got to say. There she goes.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you all doing?
Good evening, Coach Desir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking.
Oh my God!
Oh Lord, she's doing her soft feminine voice. She's in trouble now. Oh my goodness. We got her on the last show like that. Then you had Coach Ruffin trying to open up. The first time he was on, like he was very white. Oh, hello everybody. I don't know what was up with him. Oh, hello everybody. My name is Ruffin.
Oh man.
How are you?
There is.
Here they go.
Coach Ruffin.
Here they go.
Not David Ruffin, ladies and gentlemen. He's not related to David Ruffin, but I bet you he can sing. Go ahead and hit one. Go ahead and hit a note. Go ahead.
You trying to keep the listeners on here, baby. We ain't trying to run them off.
Hey, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. I have to say something about my two coaches here. Even though they are not winning in the March Madness, at least Coach Desir is at least close. Oh. But them other ones is at the bottom of the barrel.
Not even close.
Boy, they were getting beat up even from last week. Said, oh, you hadn't seen what's that guy from Thomasville who was talking about his daughter was at Auburn? Auburn got their teeth kicked in. He ain't even been on your show since then. I said, y'all need to start saying, Coach, all them people who were disappeared, I bet they ain't doing nothing on their picks. I said, no, they not. We ain't seen him. We ain't seen Earl. And I think on his title on March Madness, I think he was like, Earl, these picks may not be right or something. I said,
but he's never wrong or some junk like that. Yeah.
yeah. I said they wasn't close. Let's start with let me make a general question. Open to anybody. What game did y'all think was a immediate classic?
Coaches?
You asked for a classic?
Immediate classic, meaning once that game was played, it instantly was a classic.
Can we have the definition of classic, please, Coach?
Can you put it in a sentence, Coach? Can you say it? Can you put it in a sentence?
Do you have the origin of the word classic?
Just try to spell it big. I was like, could you say it in syllables? Could you use it in a sentence, please? Let me mute Coach Desir. For a comedy act. Coach Ruffin, what was men or women's side?
It's funny, I was on a basketball call last night for some college prospects trying to transfer, and I couldn't focus because of that game last night. That was so good. That UConn and
North Carolina State.
North Carolina State. Man, that was great. We kept interrupting our call because we kept turning around looking at the television. That was fantastic. If people are not watching girls, the women's basketball, they're missing out on some good basketball. I mean, that was high level. Gino is an awesome coach. I mean, he could coach anywhere in the nation. Just awesome.
If I had to pick one, UConn and North Carolina State last night, and if you remember, when we started, there were a couple of things I mentioned. I said I was a UConn fan at Page. You got to watch Page. Dawn Staley at South Carolina. And Lil Stefan, they was shooting them across the half court. She got put out early from Iowa. But Paige, did you, when they did the interview at the end of the game, one of the girls, the Williams girls, said, they asked her, how did you feel going into overtime? She said, I felt confident. And they said, why were you so confident? She said, we had Paige, they didn't. And they said, when Paige gets it going out, she said, the basket is this big.
Yep.
And she was not, and she came off of ACL, didn't she, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Coach, are you with us?
I think so.
I wasn't gonna say nothing before he back there changing his shirt and everything. That's a good thing. I don't know about that, Coach. You thought we could see you or something? What's really going on? What's really going on? Now, who had the?
I was in workouts.
Yeah.
Oh, this show is taking a left.
Yeah.
Just walked in the house.
See?
I said I can smell myself. Let me change the shirt.
Coach Desir, what's your thing about them stank?
I literally just walked in the door.
You talking about the Peacocks, the St. Peter's? I'm going to tell you, I hate to be doing the promo, but the Gorilla Glue came off. It was more like Elmer's glue that they end up having in the game. I think and that's the same thing with the Miami and St. Peter's. After the first half, it was just, they started unraveling. And I don't think they actually had themselves put in that position before in the prior games where they really had to scratch and claw to stay with a team. Miami, when Kansas ran that speed like Miami did, the coach always said, we got to be faster than them. But every time they went fast, Kansas came back even faster. And it started to beat them at their own game. And then next thing I know, I was like seeing guys just doing eyeball instead of the team ball. Every time they came down, they were shooting threes. And I was just like, why are you shooting threes? You can, what happened to the old fashioned way again, the and-1, you know, taking it to the basket, taking them off the dribble, but they were getting frustrated with themselves. And the coach was trying to do everything in his power that he could to try to bring them back and say, hey guys, let's do what got us here. You know, let's stay together. Let's keep that gorilla glue together and not go with that Elmer's glue where you wash your hands and then you start all of a sudden start unraveling and coming apart. And I think that's what happened with Miami. And the same thing you could say with St. Peter's, although they were still trying to give it, they had those spurts. You know, they say the game of basketball is a game of runs. In St. Peter's, they were having their runs, and then when they got in that rut in that middle towards the end of the first half and the first part of the second half, they just could not keep up with North Carolina. North Carolina was a little big, thick, and stalky, and really haven't had those other teams where they had to really go in and beat them strong, because their bigs for Carolina could run the guard position. Their guards could go down there in the post and post you up. You know, so I think St. Peter's was a little shocked to see that all 5 guys can interchange at different positions at any particular point in time. And, you know, like the coach said, I read his comment, his quote said, he didn't do the game adjustments of what he should have been doing. And, you know, he took it upon himself. So I think that it just started unraveling. I can't even remember the other games that took place because my heart was just hurting a little bit because Miami just didn't get that. And, you know, but like they say, the blue bloods are back. All blue teams are back in the Final Four.
Good comment there, and I appreciate your honesty on that, because you were one of the first Miami fans, and you were saying, I remember you saying they got men out there playing, and their maturity level is going to make a difference. And they kind of faltered surprisingly. They lost to a good team, but they surprised me some. Now in the game last night, knocking down some of the play that they called to get to overtime with the back screen for the jump shooter out the corner. It was very reminiscent of Ray Allen, because I don't think her foot came all the way down. She caught it and let it go in one motion. And she was pretty emotionless until they mobbed her. It was like, I don't know if she even knew that it hit nothing but the bottom. But Paige Beckers just grabbed her head like, no way possible she hit that shit. And it was a big time play. It was a big time play.
Well, I'm disturbed that I missed it. I don't know how I ended up being knocked out, but I was knocked out last night. I don't know if March Madness just caught up with me and just told me up, but I was knocked out, man. I checked ESPN this morning to see what the score was, and I was like, whoa, double overtime. And then I'm looking at the score box, and the young lady for North Carolina State I forgot her name, that usually comes in, I think she's like the sixth person off the bench that comes in. She doesn't have to be the starter. I didn't even see her name up there for like the high points. So I'm just like, did they shut her down? You know, what happened? Now the wheels started turning, like, what's really going on? Because North Carolina State is usually strong all across the board. And when that 6th person comes in, who usually is like a starter for the team, I didn't see anything. So, you know, y'all gonna have to help me out on that, because
well, UConn lost a starter early, and she's done. In fact, they kind of rallied around, you know, and said it was, you know, they kind of did this for their sister. You know, they were pulling for her, and then Paige, you know, just went off. She started. I mean, well, she hit like 8 shots in a row in overtime. She was flat killing, you know. And so, you know, UConn had the number one high school player last year, and 2 years ago, number one player in Paige. And Gino can coach Ruffin. He can put that thing together. You know, and it was a heck of a game. Yeah. Now listen,
it was awesome.
Coach, how you think about the blue bloods? Coach, you brought up the all blue, but tell me about Duke and North Carolina in the doggone semifinals.
That is they just proved that point.
Dang.
ACC and Duke just proved, I mean, not ACC, Duke and North Carolina just proved the point that ACC is one of the power conferences. If people were actually keeping up with it, you literally had nothing but ACC teams left going down into the Sweet 16 or the top 32 and whatnot. And they didn't even have that many teams selected. I think it was, I forgot what conference it was that had 9 schools in the tournament. So if you were going against the odds, you wouldn't even try to pick an ACC team because they didn't have that many teams going in. But Duke and North Carolina, it's going to be on and popping. They're going to call it Louisiana, but it's going to look like North Carolina. They're going to bring the Blues all the way through. It's going to be very interesting to see because both of those teams, they're really starting to gel right now. They are literally like knowing each other. Yeah. And it's going to be very interesting. They're sharing the ball. If one pick up foul trouble, they'll go and say, hey, don't worry about it. We got you. And it goes from the 5 that's starting to the ones that's coming off the bench. I mean, it's continuously. They have the bench production going on. You have the boxing out. Oh, I love watching the box out. Oh, it's just a beauty when you see kids actually utilizing the fundamentals of boxing people out instead of just always trying to jump with them and always like trying to swat at the ball to get you a good block shot. They're moving their feet. It's Panchero, if that's how you pronounce his name, son. If I pronounce your name wrong, don't hold it against my heart. Just put it to the head. But he's gonna do his thing. And what's that name? Bulk? What's his name? The big dude for North Carolina? It's Bacon, or it starts with a B. I know it starts with a B. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to show up. And Krzyzewski, he's writing his story. He's getting ready to close the book. I haven't always been a Duke fan, but to see what he has done with the program over the years, I was like, dang, I want Duke to lose. Then I'm like, dang, they showing him writing a nice story for him to close the chapter on his book. That'd be cool. But then you got Hubert Davis over there, with the Tar Heels and the things that he's able to do with them. So it's going to be a match, and I'm pretty sure the camera's going to be on Roy Williams several times, and Roy Williams is going to be smiling like he usually does and cheering. But you won't find me putting no money on that game.
Coach Ruffin?
Yeah, I think that game's –
Go ahead.
I think that game's going to be interesting. I love watching Carolina because, like Coach just said, there'll be times where the shot goes up and the ball will either bounce or the guard will get the rebound because the big guys box out so well. Man, it's I love watching. I'm a Kentucky fan, but I love watching their bigs. Like, it's awesome to see. Duke, I like, what more do you want as Duke? You got beat Coach K's last home game. That dude's got to turn around and come back out and talk to the fans and say, hey, that ain't gonna happen again. We ain't gonna play like that again. What more do you want as a Duke player to now be able to send him out like that? Coach K I don't think he's got to say much. Those players are gonna say, hey, Coach, we got you on this one. This kind of what I feel like. We kind of let you down a little bit. We got you now. So I don't know. I mean, of course they're going to game plan. They're going to go through some things, but and then somebody else I think a kid from Villanova got hurt too. Yeah. One of their players got injured. So I hate to hear that, man. Villanova is such a great fundamental team. I hate that. And Kansas is going to play well too. It's going to be great. I mean, get your popcorn ready. It's going to be great.
Coach Ruffin, you said something that I was going to say, and that was, that last home game and regular season game, and UNC beat Duke down. And like you said, they had to come back out.
Yes.
And it wasn't even close. And now you get another chance to play again. That's going to be a little difficult right there. As a coach, all of us using that. And really, you don't even have to use everybody else. They've been in their ear. They've been hearing this and stuff. Now, the winner of this game, see, what they can't do is the winner of this game gets so wrapped up. And we've talked about this on the show about winning on Saturday and thinking they proved their point in the championship game on Monday, whoever the winner may be.
Sure.
Unlike some other people, I don't have a problem with Duke. I tell you, I like Duke. When I met Krzyzewski when we played them in the conference, in the NCAA tournament, And the way he walked up to my athletic director, took his finger and put it in his face and said, "Your coach needs a raise and an extension." He turned this program around in one season. From the way he started to get to the dance, you need to take care of him. I didn't know Krzyzewski, but from that moment right on, I was a Krzyzewski fan. I respected him. Heck, we were within 4 points of them. 23-19 at one point. Krzyzewski took a timeout. That same finger, he raised it at his team. Man, we didn't get a shot in 10 minutes. I ain't talking about made a shot. We didn't get a shot at 10 minutes. Those guys were so physically strong that as we would go to the basket, they were hand-checked. I mean, all our guys lived in the weight room after that. Except for one little Pippen, he went for 23. But that experience, and I tell you that NCAA tournament, my brother and I used to go to NCAA tournament all the time. With zero, somebody got a TV on it that's coming back in the background. But we go with 0 tickets. And the art of it was to get tickets for the semifinal game and then get closer to the floor for the championship game. Because whoever lost, they walking down the aisle, selling 2, selling 4, selling 2. So we buying 2 tickets and we moving down further trying to get better seats. Bartering. Man, it was an art. San Antonio was the best place. We went for the women's tournament one year when I was a women's coach. And if you ever been to San Antonio, they got the Riverwalk. Mm-hmm. And they got restaurants on one side, restaurants on the other side. They did Dick Vitale and all of them were doing ESPN from there. On one side is one school. They talking shit across the river. The ones on this side talking shit to the ones across the other side of the river. It was like being in the facility just on the off day, just all the schools just jaw-jacking. And then when you go to the Alamo, all the hotels are together. So everybody's walking in the street to the hotel. If you never went out, that's what I remember. I don't remember who's playing. I just remember the atmosphere that was absolutely crazy going there and people talking that stuff. If y'all haven't been, if you could ever go, if you can't get tickets and you outside, it's a whole different thing.
I got tickets for the Final Four 2 or 3 years ago, and then COVID hit. So I was so upset, Coach. And so what StubHub ended up doing was giving you 120% refund. So I was going to try to go this year because New Orleans is only 2.5 hours from Pensacola right here. Those tickets were just too expensive. I mean, I just couldn't. If I would have known someone, that'd be different. But I couldn't make that. But I'd love to go to a Final Four, Coach, especially it being in New Orleans.
Coach, you wanna you still got those tickets? you wanna toss them to the side? You know, I'll take them off your hands if they bring it back bad memory for you, Coach. I don't have no problem doing that. You know, you don't have to worry about the refund. I just go ahead and take it out for you. Yeah.
I end up spending that money on JoJo Siwa's concert for my little girl to go to. Oh,
Coach, you done messed up, Coach. That was a historic ticket, man. I was trying to help you out, Coach. I was trying to help you out. That's a historic thing during the pandemic. That's just like that Michael Jordan stub that was never ripped off, and it was for millions. You understand? That's historic.
I didn't really get a ticket. It was just a credit. So I never really got the tickets.
Hey, you're fired.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Coach, you could have went to New Orleans and bought a ticket.
I think so. I'll still go.
Is it? Huh?
I said I'll still go. If I can give me a decent ticket, brother, I'll go.
You got to buy the ticket when you get there. They selling them right now. I tell you, that's what I was telling you. We went every year, never had a ticket. Never had a ticket. And you bartering and buying tickets. And the price, when they scalping them too high, I said, no, I don't want that one. The closer you get to game time, the more the tickets drop.
Because they want to get rid of them. They want to get stuck with them.
And the worst one I went to was the one they had in St. Pete that year. because it was spread out over 4 and 5 different counties. So you never got that sense of one. Now I've been in New Orleans too, because everybody down on Bourbon Street. And anytime you go to the tournament and it's a central location for everybody to be, that's where you want to be. They are absolutely bananas. You know, so it was. I mean, if you could go at New Orleans, like you said, 2.5 hour drive, man. If I was 2.5 hours away, it ain't no way in the world
you finna
that
go.
I wouldn't be there. Oh, hey, no way in the world. Just to try. If I didn't do nothing but go and try to get tickets, 2.5 hours. At worst, I come back. At worst, I come back. But you could get them. I'm telling you, we went every year without nary a ticket.
So, hey, keep the keyword in your back pocket, man. It's called Mickey Clayton. So when you come to that person, you say, hey, Mickey Clayton. You'll get that discount. You know what I'm saying? He gonna hook you up. He just said he go there every year. He don't ever have no tickets, but he always be up in the arena. So hey, Coach, I'm telling you now, if you go and you find you a good one, say Mickey Clayton.
Start name dropping, huh?
Yeah, just name dropping. Just say Mickey Clayton. And before you know it, you're gonna be on the sideline just like he was, you know, with that iPhone just be. You gonna come out like, man? Hey, I appreciate you. I had a name drop.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Coach Desir, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you here. Next year, I'm not gonna talk to your guys. They on their own. I ain't helping y'all. Speaking of which, let me go back to another comment. Coach Desir going off. They talked about. I got a comment say, Coach Desir, she was talking about the money games. Did y'all see her talking about the money games? I said, yeah, I was on the show. What did she do? She acted like she was a king of diamonds. I said, yeah, she did. I said, what Coach Desir know about that? I said, well, y'all need to stop. And Coach Desir was doing this. I said, stop it. See, Coach, until you mess with me, I wasn't going to tell you about that comment. See? Look, Rick, look at it.
Hands up.
Rick, hey, Coach Ruffin, you gotta get her when you can now. You gotta get her when you can.
I've muted myself. I'm muting myself. You don't have to worry about pressing the button. I've already muted it for you.
No, don't mute Coach Z. No.
Don't do it like that.
No, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that.
Yeah, I had to get her. I had to get her.
You know, Coach
Walrond,
what's going on?
Oh Lord, he still can't tell time. I see.
Well, when does the time change? When does daylight saving time change?
It hadn't changed, Rick.
I'm on Chinese time.
Yeah. See,
how you guys doing?
He didn't say China. He didn't say China. We already dealing with the upscale of the new Omicron birth that's coming around. But he gonna say China? Come on now. Come on, man.
Hey, I'm in the gym working out. I that takes precedence. You got to set your priorities. I'm in the gym working out. I'm trying to stay ahead of Father Time.
Is that what they call it? So which thigh do you have? You got the chicken bone or you got the wing? So
well, down here at Bethune-Cookman with the Harvard of the HBCUs, fitness is a top priority for us.
Oh, okay. So the next time you talk to them, please ask them how many scouts came to their pro day.
Pro day?
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all don't even know what pro day is. My bad. I'm sorry.
We switching pro days here. Y'all ain't got Bob Hayes up here anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Boy, he's counting his age, isn't he? Oh, hey, we did get asked a question, ladies and gentlemen. One of our favorite viewers, Chiquita Miller, Dr. Chiquita.
Hey, Dr. Miller.
Say hello, Coach Rick and guests. They would love your take on the new coach from Kansas State University, Jerome Tang. Anybody have some insight? Coach Walrond?
Nope. I've met him a few times, but don't know him personally. I know he's got a pretty good track record, though. I think he's going to be okay.
You think Kansas State will be okay with him?
Yeah, I think they will. They're not going to beat Kansas, but they will be okay. They will be okay. That Big 12 is going to be watered down next year with Cincinnati and Houston and all those new teams coming in and all the other teams leaving, Oklahoma and Texas leaving. That thing ain't going to be quite as strong. The Big 12 ain't going to be quite as strong as it was in the past when you lose Texas and Oklahoma. But they'll be good, though. They'll be good.
Is Kansas State's
Like,
the big game?
I guess like any coach,
I'm sorry, Coach.
Mhm.
Coach Ruffin?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say like any coach. I was just gonna say like any coach. I just looked it up real quick because I didn't necessarily know which. I thought it was right. Coach. So he was at Baylor. I couldn't remember off the top of my head where he's from, so I had to Google it real quick. But if he was at Baylor, I mean, I can't speak for him because I've never seen him a head coach, but he's been under one of the best. So he's seen defensively what it needs to be. He's won a national championship. He's been around great culture, and if you've been around great culture, you know how to build a program. So I would assume that he would do well, but it's all about recruiting. Got to get the right kids in. Got to be able to recruit.
No question. No
especially
question.
this day and age. Got to be able to recruit and build that program right. But he'll do great, Dr. Miller.
Yeah, Coach Ruffin, you did the exact same thing that I did because I was like, Jerome Tane, who? So I had to, like they said, Google me, baby. So I went to go Google him, and as an assistant coach for Baylor, being in that conference, I think he's gonna have his hands full for sure. But I think he has the experience in being within that conference and knowing how to recruit and. As long as the fans are going to give him at least 1 or 2 years, because it's going to take some time. K-State has not been like it used to be in years past. So as long as he continues to have that support and the fan base can understand it's not going to happen overnight, and they see the type of talent that he's bringing in, and they're actually able to bring out the production, the point production, and bringing in some of those W's, I think if they give him at least 2 years, I think he may turn some heads. I really do.
You know, everybody's definition of success is different, though. Your
That's
definition of success, and some of these booster club members in these Big 12 schools, though, and even UCF coming into that new league, their expectations, that football run they had a few years ago, and it's you creating your own monster because they expect this every year. That's the way it is, though. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
It's hard.
Or not. Well, one of the things I like about the Power 5 schools is when they decide to make a coaching change, they make a change. And some of the smaller institutions wait too late, Coach Warren, you know what I'm saying. Wait too late to make the hire. They might make the designation a month after signing day. They don't get the coaching staff, the assistant coaches in until July when the budget year changes. And so they're stuck with the same players that the previous coach had that didn't win. And it puts them in a terrible position. Now, I remember working for Bill Hayes. He said, Coach Clayton, you have some basketball experience. I need you to find me 5 candidates for basketball coach. I need to find out what it takes to hire them, what they want, what it'll take to move them. So if I have to make a change, I will entrust you to already have a short list on what it'll take to bring somebody else in. He said every athletic director worth his salt has a replacement list for every coach on his staff. And he said, you know far more about basketball than me, so I need you to do the research. Now, one of the things, Dr. Miller, who I love very much, she played for me. Another comment, she said the portal
is
a game changer.
Yeah, most definitely.
Comments, anybody?
Yeah. The portal is definitely a game changer for any institution. And it's almost like the high rollers type of game, or the portal is. It could be. It's not good for high school students, so you can just go ahead and hang that up. They're at the bottom of the totem pole. It's your D1 transfers that you're looking at. You have your junior college transfer portal. Then you got your post grad, and then you got your prep schools. But that transfer portal, and you can play automatically. Back in the day, if you transfer within the conference, you got to sit out 2 years.
2 years.
You transfer to another conference, you got to sit out. Now you can go and transfer and play just like that. A one-time opportunity. Kids are they're taking full advantage of it. So you have mid-majors, lows who, if a high D1 prospect didn't like the school that they were currently at and you want to change, just like, unfortunately, Mr. Moore from Miami, he played at 4 different institutions. The transfer portal played right into his hand, and he was able to get to a place that actually fit his style. So, the same thing with, Coach Jerome over at K-State. He has that opportunity, Coach Clayton, that you didn't have years ago with the transfer portal. So I think, with that portal being there, he'll be able to build upon of those high 4- and 5-star recruits that's not really in a place that's fitting for them. They can go and build their team from that transfer portal and maybe have like 2 or 3 young guys, high school kids to fill it up. But if they don't do anything about this transfer portal within the next couple of years, me personally, it's probably going to ruin the game for football and basketball, because it's really not going to be evenly distributed, so to speak, because now I can go stockpile in one area just by the transfer portal alone versus the regular recruiting way that we used to have.
But Coach, they don't want it to be even and balanced. What it's done is allowed the Power 5 schools to get rid of student athletes that they don't want, that they've recruited over. So what they tell them is, they help them find somewhere to go. We just talked about it in the first part of the show. The defensive end at Florida State is now going to be one of the top 15 pick. Transfer from Georgia, wasn't playing that much because he was behind another first-round player. Went to Florida State and killed it. So they want that, because the high school kids that are going to Power 5 schools are going to still be recruited by Power 5 schools. But everybody under the Power 5 schools are recruiting the transfer portal. In fact, there's some schools that don't even want their coaches to recruit high school. They want them to recruit from the portal because they're more mature. They've already been admitted to college. They already have shown what they can do academically. And they're closer, like the Miami player, they're closer to being men, and they're playing against the 18, 17, 18-year-old kid who still have to adjust, mature. I mean, some of the institutions have passed that down to their coaches. So you can get the kid, you can turn your program around pretty quick. We had Chris Ayers on from University of Mississippi, one of the assistant women coaches. He said they turned it around instantly because of the transfer portal, and they went inside the portal and got some kids to come out and help them right away. So Dr. Miller, you're 150% correct on that.
And that's a great state too. That Kansas has got a great high school program there with high school players. So Kansas is definitely a basketball state. So that definitely plays a good part in it. And you're right. I hate it for these high. I had a college coach tell me today, Coach, I can't take any more high schoolers. I mean, it broke my heart. I mean, these 22 kids are looking like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? And I'm just like, there's nothing I can do, man. Like,
and
can be a full qualifier and go to JUCO. Maybe we can get you in for a year. But
Well, I'd like to say something if I could. In my opinion, and I'm kind of a bit old school because I'm a little bit older, when the days of bringing in high school kids and developing them, bringing them along, getting them acclimated to your system, these transfer portal and stuff, to me, it's like it's a quick fix. Can you maintain this every year? I don't think you can maintain it. You'll have 1 or 2 good years. You'll be a peacock. You'll never be heard. You'll never hear from St. Francis or where. You'll never hear from them again. But I'm just saying it's a quick fix. It's not maintaining a stellar program where you got players coming in every year, guys wanting to go to school there. That's just my opinion. I think it's a quick fix. Still developing players and bringing in high school kids, the right high school kids, and developing them is still the main way to go, in my opinion.
Well, I agree that it's absolutely a quick fix, but a lot of the programs that are not Power 5 schools, you don't get that long to fix it. You almost, those 4 or 5 year contracts aren't available at a mid-major and below. You got 2 or 3 years to turn it around. And one of those years is a wasted year that they brought you in almost after the school year started, and you're not able to even recruit kids. you know, and the
That's a
kids,
good point.
once you've been in the situation, you know, the kids don't ever think it's them. It's always the coach. You know, all of them can play. It's always they not getting the coaching that they feel they want to do. So that's what it is to me more than anything else. But I say I'm kind of old school like you, Coach. But if I'm gonna keep up with what's going on, let me throw this out. Billy Joe was very successful at FAMU football. How did he do it? He got transfers. Do you remember that time? That was if you transferred, you had this. If you had a lateral transfer, Division I, you had to sit out a year. Well, Billy Joe took all those kids under the transfer rule, and they were immediately eligible to play. Billy Joe showed HBCU schools how to win because everybody else started doing it when they saw what Billy was doing. Then we changed coaches, and they started beating us with the same formula that we had. I will remember forever talking to Billy Joe. And Billy Joe is, you know, Billy Joe speaks his mind. And he said, Coach, they want me to recruit them high school kids. Doggone it. By the time I get me a high school quarterback and he get to be any damn good, he'll be playing for somebody else at junior and senior year because they've been and ran my ass out of here. A lot of truth to that.
It's true. It's true.
He had a star quarterback, and I was a basketball coach. I was trying to find the kid because they said, Mickey, he's from Fort Lauderdale. He's a better basketball player than football. I said, get out of here. So I'm trying to find him. The school that he transferred from to play football at FAMU, he was on the sideline of that school when they went to a bowl game. So he came and played one semester and transferred back. So all they did was allow the portal rule to exist for everybody else's benefit. The Power 5 schools, they just kind of transfer and go back and forth. Rick, I'm with you on there. It's a hard one. I still have to have some high school kids to get my program, some stability for your program. But the way kids are coming and going now, it's changed so much. It's like you have to build a new team every year.
But you also know that you got another factor that's factoring in now. Not only do you have the transfer portal, you got the NIL coming into play. So, you know, you're having to deal with those two variables where if you don't have those sponsors or whatnot that's going to put money in these kids' pocket and they feel like you're not doing what you should be doing, they hitting that portal going someplace else, i.e. the young man at Florida State, you know, the football player. You know, like he's like, I'm not coming on spring practice. Yo, I'm brush my shoulders off. Y'all should, hey, where are my sponsors? I'm worth some money. Okay, you're not going to, all right, cool. You're not going to do it? I'm going in the portal. And so he'll probably land at a program that's going to be able to give him some finances that's going to suit him, and then he's going to go there and play. So you got two different variables that you're playing against that coaches have to understand how to play, NIL and transfer portal.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. Within 2 years, that NIL and the transfer portal is going to be, you're not going to recognize it. You wait and see. These coaches, I'm going to these NCAA convention. I'm going to New Orleans on tomorrow. Those meetings they're having right now behind closed doors, there's going to be some amendments to this NIL and the transfer portal. And you can say you heard it here first. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna keep going like it's going now. It's too wide open. It's too Wild West. It's not gonna happen. Those old school guys sitting up there in the press boxes and up there in the.
I saw somebody say that on ESPN.
But do the coaches really do the NIL part? I get. ESPN. There be changes because they just went. Once Florida said they were doing it, it just opened up the gate. For everyone, but the state of Florida, that is. But do coaches really care about the transfer portal? I mean, is it that bad for them?
Well,
I would think that they would love it because unless you're getting those one and doneers like Kentucky used to do, you would think that they will want players already developed to get them where we are now.
Well, what happened was once the lawsuit filed against the NCAA, the players won that. It changed everything. And the NCAA had to get in alignment with the legal cases. And the students gained a lot more control. And the NCAA was completely afraid that they were getting ready. And we talked about it on the show, Rick.
Yeah, we did.
They were completely afraid that they were going to lose the cash cow, which is for them, the March Madness and the basketball tournament. The basketball tournament funds the complete NCAA. It funds everything in the NCAA. Remember, they almost went bankrupt because they had this real exclusive, expensive insurance policy in the NCAA in case they didn't hold the NCAA tournament, that they would get cashed in on this insurance policy. Well, it was so expensive, they decided they were going to cancel that insurance policy. And what came up 18 months later was COVID-19. So where if they had kept the insurance policy, they would have still got the money. They were able to survive because the NCAA had bank money. They existed for 12, 14 months off the money they had banked. If they didn't get that NCAA tournament up and rolling again, the NCAA was getting ready to go bankrupt, belly up. They've already turned football over to the individual schools because the schools of Power 5 was going to leave and do their own thing with their own legislation, with their own rules. So there's only so much the NCAA can actually do. I don't think they're happy with the way it's going, but they cannot fight the control that the student athletes have gained, and how the legal system favored them. So they call themselves trying. That's not to say they're not going to make some changes. They call themselves trying to do what they did with the image and likeness, but they don't have any control over it. And we knew that when it came out that it was going to be the Wild Wild West, Rick. We knew that. There was no other way for it to go but that. So they couldn't control it. And that's what's happened. So if it's some changes, they're going to try to fine tune it. But and what they're more upset about is some of the smaller schools have been able to put together some deals that have really upset them, where before they had this image and likeness, those smaller schools weren't able to put something together to be competitive. They're mad Deion Sanders put together something. FAMU has put some things together. Miami had something that one of their boosters came up where every student athlete on the football team gets paid. So they were more upset with some of the lesser known schools that were able to get in on this on the cutting edge and be able to get some money for them.
Yeah. Hey, Mickey, do you remember? Do you remember the time that the joke was Miami committed so many violations that they put FAMU on probation? You remember that?
I don't.
Back in the day, that was a joke. But back when Miami was Miami, they had so many recruiting violations, that the NCAA put FAMU on probation.
No, I don't remember that one, but I know Miami had so many violations.
Oh, yes, they did.
They were completely out of control with it. No.
Was that a true one, or you're just trying to tie the orange and the green together because you're down there with the maroon and the gold? So was that a right lane coming up the east side of the state of Florida, trying to come up here to Tallahassee to come in the backyard of the orange and green? Because I am a Miami fan.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I was just trying to make sure.
Y'all can't beat the Seminoles very much, but that's true.
That's okay. The Seminoles can have it this year, but the past couple of years they could not. And I know that because my husband is a Florida State fan, and I make sure he knows that when I smile. I will always be a Miami fan, regardless if we win or lose, unlike a whole bunch of other bandwagon folks who don't like to stay on the wagon when the wheel is crumbling.
Oh, kick them off the wagon when they do that. When they jump on that wagon, they ought to send them right out the back of the wagon because that's not right. They don't do that.
BCU. Hey, when I saw the Miami game, the one thing I had to give them credit for was I liked their orange on their uniform. Boy, those uniforms look good. That orange and green, which is the imitation orange and green originally from us, but they did look good in it. I have to tell you this. You know, we had our March Madness brackets.
Oh, goodness.
9 of us. Oh, no wonder he said, oh, goodness. No wonder Jeremy said, oh, goodness. Jeremy, I completely understand why you said that. Seeing that right now, out of 9 of us, Jeremy's in 9th place with 41 points. Right in front of him, not always right, Earl Hankerson with 47 points. It's a 6-point difference between the bottom and next to the bottom. 6th place, Coach Ben picked as his national champion, Auburn with 52 points. 11 points between 6th and 9th place. Y'all ain't even close there. Tied with him was Todd, the guy who won the football championship. He had 52. Rick's remarkable picks, he had 53. So it's like 1 point separating 3 people. That's 5th place. 4th place, Rick was Sports Diva. 58 points. Rick the Reporter, 61 points. I know it's important to you to finish in front of Sports Diva because you.
All I got to do. That's all I got to do.
You see, they went back and forth the whole football.
All I got to do. Love you, Diva. You know I love you, Diva. You know I do.
Oh.
Yes.
Dione in 2nd place with 65 points. What a killer is. She had Tennessee for national champion.
Yeah, I'm done. Stick a fork in me.
And winning for the first time, me with 73. It ain't nobody close.
No.
It ain't nobody close. And
you got Duke winning, right?
Rick, you see the women pulling for each other. Hear Dr. Miller about that. Way to go, Sports Diva. Them two always be tagged.
I know I thought me and Dr. Miller were cool. And I understand. It's a lady thing. I wouldn't understand. I understand, but it's a Brown thing. It's a reporter thing. It's a Brown thing.
There you go. Well, Coach Ruffin?
Yes, sir.
Sports Diva says she need a recount. Coach Ruffin and Dione, I'm gonna have to get some information for y'all because we've done the show 3 times. Y'all have been with us all 3 times, and we gonna get I'm gonna be a man of my word. I'm gonna look out for y'all with a pizza party for your class or team anyway. So,
hey, we surely appreciate that. We appreciate that, and just make sure you have that top sirloin on the side.
But I tell you, $20 a piece, you can get what you want. $20 a piece, you can get what you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all taking the time.
Coach Clayton.
Yes, sir.
Before we go, when we come back, it'll be over. So, who are they picking for the championship?
I had Duke. Dione had Tennessee. They out. Rick had Arizona.
I had Arizona. They gone.
Sports Diva had Memphis. They've been gone. That's why you asked Rick. You and I the only ones that had 2 teams playing. You had Kansas.
I had North Carolina.
Coach Ben had Auburn, Gonzaga, and Jeremy.
So recount.
Rick had Kansas. He is exactly right. Rick had Kansas. He is.
We got too many Ricks on this show. Which Rick you talking about?
You had Kansas. I had Arizona.
I'm not sure because I'm a North Carolina fan. I don't know why I would have picked Kansas because maybe Roy Williams came from there. Maybe that's why I did it.
Well,
but nothing could be finer than to be from Carolina.
So as long as I had a thing growing up, A, B, C, D, anybody but Carolina or Duke. So since Villanova's in there, and I hate Villanova since '85, when the Koch boys beat Georgetown, I got to root for Kansas because they're the only team that I like now. So let's go Kansas.
You see,
That's
Dr.
a
Miller.
consolation game. Kansas and Villanova is a consolation game.
You see, Dr. Miller, when in Rome, go KU.
See, there you go, Dr. Miller. Now we're back on. We're back here now. All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, well, one thing is for sure. You could put on a blue shirt and you won't go wrong, except for Carolina. You know, they had a baby blue, but all the other blues, you can wear a blue shirt and just just roll with it. Just like they say, roll tide. Just put on a blue shirt, and when your team wins, like, yes, I was already rooting for them. When you know you was rooting for somebody else, but just wear a blue.
There you go.
And you can't go wrong.
And the bad part about it is, I'm glad it's Saturday night because the Duke and North Carolina game is late, and we're gonna have to take a nap to be up for that.
I'll be there, baby. I'll be there, baby. I'll be right behind the Carolina bench.
That's a good place for you to be.
I'm gonna be right there, and you'll be seeing me jumping up and down.
Good place for you to be.
Or hiding if Duke starts beating us.
So you already have your ticket, or are you going to use a secret password?
No, I've had my tickets for 2 weeks. Hey, speaking of that, Coach Desir, I'd like to get your contact information. I asked Mickey last couple weeks ago, and he never hooked me up. I want to get your.
I'm ready to mute you. That this would not be the place on my show to run your thing on there like that. Okay, so he is now muted. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate you being on the show and being patient with us and being a part of what we do. Thank you again. Some of you, we will invite you back again for other things that we got going on. We appreciate you and we love you so much. We really do. Hey, Jeremy, Dione, I got something for y'all, for your teams and your schools.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. You just gave me an ad workout. Appreciate it. Thank you.
From Insights. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
Insights is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.
All right, we appreciate you. Take care, my brother.
All right, Coach.
Good night.
Until next week, folks. Peace.
Good night.